Hi everybody, another video by me, Everyday Oppression. Hey guys, so apologies for the long wait in between videos, but you know my reasonings behind that in the last video. So before we get into the meat of this video, I want to tell a bit of a story. It turns out that I was doing I was attempting to do some video work when all of a sudden my sound thing wasn't working. So if any of you are cat owners or cat lovers, this one, you might get a kick out of this story. Basically because I didn't have any sound, I was wondering what was wrong with my audio in regards to my computer. So it turns out my cat, Civil, she had chewed through the wiring that connects to my subwoofer to my computer. So she had chewed through the wires, which means that I couldn't get any sound. So it forced me to go to my local store in order to buy new cables, plug into my subwoofer, plug into my computer in order for me to listen to it. So anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I found it very funny that my cat chewed through the wires. Now my roommate says that basically it's because I don't give her enough attention and I don't play with her enough, but however, I think it's just because, as we all know, cats are assholes.
The way they kind of go, who loves Kitty? You love Kitty? Are these your shoes? Who loves Kitty?
And because she was an asshole, she decided to just ruin my cables and force me to buy more, so. Anyways, now on to the main event. Let's go. Alright guys, so as the title suggests, this is going to be my review of the movie The Black Panther. Yes, I went to go see it. I went to go see it with my boyfriend here in Alberta, Canada. So good news was there was no black nationalists or Black Lives Matter people forcing white people not to show up to the event. We weren't forced in the back of the theater, which is actually better seating. So if they wanted us to be punished, they would have forced us to sit in the front. It was so great because there were so many different types of people there. There were black people, brown people, Asians, and of course, white people. Now, I know things are a little bit different in regards to attitudes in Canada versus the United States, but I'm talking from my experience and anybody can go watch this film. So in saying that, The Black Panther. The Black Panther was actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. That's right. My review of The Black Panther is, it was pretty good. Now, it wasn't all like great and everything because I think there's a lot more in-depth Marvel movies. For example, I really like Ant-Man, and I'm a big fan of X-Men. I've always have been. So the second X-Men movie is probably my favorite out of all the X-Men ones. Not to mention the latest one called Logan. That one was really good. I like movies that are less about Hollywood blockbusters, but has more depth in their storyline and plot, and also character development. Basically, I don't like things that go boom boom. Basically, I just don't think a movie is good when all it has going for it is big explosions and car chases. Anyway, so my review of The Black Panther. It was really good. I quite enjoyed the aesthetics side of it. I liked the backstory of the make-believe world of Wakanda. Basically, T'Challa is the king and aka Black Panther leader of this make-believe country. So basically, with getting a meteorite with this special alloy metal thing called vibranium, after it crash landed in Wakanda, they decided to use the vibranium in order to build up their society. And because of how powerful the vibranium is, they decided to hide themselves from the rest of the world. I found it very interesting that, you know, the sentiment in today's politics, at least down in the States, is that black people don't want segregation. They want everybody to be involved in a multicultural kind of nation. But yet here we have a video, a movie that is depicting a society that is cutting itself away from the rest of society, the remainder people of the human population, to hide their resources away from each other. And it just happened to be black people who did it. This my shit. So that was very interesting to me. I really liked the acting. I found that, you know, it's not the greatest acting, but each character had its own character and And I really liked that. I really liked how each character was different. T'Challa's younger sister, that character I really liked. She didn't feel very forced. Like, she was a geek. She was a bit of a nerd. She, you know, works on technology and stuff in the country of Wakanda, you know, alongside her brother. It didn't feel forced to me, which I thought was really good. The all-female black guard of T'Challa, like, damn. I think that was a good representation of black women being all badass and shit without being it too forced. Now, when it came to the Killmonger character, I just want to point out something here. Michael B. Jordan, I know you're kind of kickstarting your career right now, but can we just take a look at Michael B. Jordan in his role for this movie? Yeah, that's some good black representation right there. Sorry, where was I? I really liked him as a bad guy because you can kind of relate to why he became such a bad person. Regardless of the fact that he was a war veteran and a military espionage spy who murdered, you know, thousands of people, as indicated by the spikes in his chest and on his body. Despite the fact that he was a murderer, he kind of was relatable because of where his origin came from. I really liked that as well. I thought that was really good. Now, when it comes to the identity politics side of things, where to begin? Basically, a lot of black people down in the States are treating this as if it is the be-all and end-all when it comes to black representation within Hollywood and, by extension, the greater forms of media. Now, there's been videos going around of black people dancing after the movie or people tweeting, you know, their ridiculousness about white people, stay out of it, give us our space. We need black representation because we've never ever had it. Part of this video, I'm going to showcase some of that black representation that supposedly is missing in today's society. So if you take a look here, there are tons of black representation for black people in both Hollywood movies, TV shows, and even cartoons. If you take a look at this link here, one of the first links that I clicked on while trying to find black shows, black TV shows, and black representation, this one here showcases this. So here's the long list of different black TV shows. Power, Queen Sugar, there's a show called Atlanta, How to Get Away with Murder, I've heard about this one, Blackish, Being Mary Jane, Greenleaf, Empire, that's a pretty good one too, I've seen a few episodes, Insecure, The Chi, Grownish, Scandal, The Haves and the Have-Nots, Snowfall, The Quad, Claws, and Dear White People. Yeah, I don't really like that show for what it stands for, but it's still technically black representation. Marlon, If Loving You Is Wrong, She's Gotta Have It. Hip and Hop, Atlanta, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. As you can see from this plethora of examples, black people do have representation in television. They also have representation in comic books. You know, Storm, Cage, Spike. There's tons of black representation in regards to superheroes and supervillains, mutants and non-humans, humans alike. All these different characters within Marvel comic books as well as DC comic books, they're there. All you need to do is look for them. Obviously, the Black Panther, the movie based off the comic book, The Black Panther, this just indicates that there is plenty of representation within comic book world. What else is there? What about cartoons? We had shows like The Proud Family, The Boondock Saints, Static Shock. I actually remember watching Static Shock on Saturday morning cartoons. My favorite character was Rubber Band Man. Yep, but Static Shock was a really good cartoon for young children and young adults because it got to see a positive light within black communities, and they also dealt with a lot of serious issues too. What was really nice is that Static Shock's best friend was also a white guy. Yay! What else was there? Disney's Gargoyles had Eliza Monroe, I think her name was, where her and her brother were actually visible black people. TV shows have always been Kind of a smorgasbord in regards to different characters, and that I really like as well. What else is there? Obviously the movies. They treat Black Panther as if it's the only, like, movie that is representing black people. But there's been Blade. We've had inspirational films, basketball stories, obviously very well known to do actors in both TV and movies. Oprah Winfrey being one. Samuel L. Jackson, Kevin Hart, you know, The Rock. We have a lot of non-white individuals who are quite successful, both in Hollywood, politics as well. So we've also had President Obama, who is technically half black, but because of his dark skin, a lot of people just say that he's a black guy. So we've had a lot of representation of black people, both in real life as well as fantasy life, aka entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, how much black representation is there in basketball? Or professional football? Or, you know, any type of Olympian sport which involves a lot of running. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've heard Kenyans are kind of fast.
Give chocolate to your babies and they'll be good at sports. Make your babies run abnormally fast. They'll run as fast as Kenyans. People will watch them running and think they're Kenyans. They'll race as fast as Kenyans against actual Kenyans, and it'll be a tie and they'll get deported back to Kenya.
So again, with this notion that black nationalists and Black Lives Matter people are treating this movie as if it's the be-all and end-all when it comes to black representation, not realizing that there are tons of black representation in every field. You know, entertainment, TV shows, sports, athletics, the Olympics, politics. We have senators. We even had a president who was black. You know, to all those people who are dissing white people, saying that this is our time to shine because white people have been keeping us down and we need to represent. Sorry to tell you there, sweetheart, but I think you're wrong. And you should do more research in that. But back to talking about the movie itself. So, okay, I'm going to get real here for a second. And so I was with my boyfriend, who's white as well. We were sitting there, and I just remember thinking that halfway through the movie, I actually stopped and thought about this for a second. Now, getting rid of all the politics side of things, or the identity politics between whites and blacks, and the growing war on racism in the States. And I thought, okay, now I'm seeing this as a white guy, but what would it be like if I was a black kid watching the Black Panther? So halfway through the film, I stopped and I thought to myself, okay, if I was a young black kid watching this movie, how would that make me feel? So I instantly thought that, you know, being a young black kid, whether guy or girl, they probably get bombarded a lot with social media and television, that they get bombarded with a lot of negativity in regards to the black community. They see themselves getting arrested by cops. They see themselves as criminals. They see these riots that are happening in cities like Detroit and Chicago. They see like gangbangers. They see hip hop and rap, which is, you know, kind of sexist towards black women, treating them as if they're hoes and objects to be, you know, acted upon. Ghetto culture, I think, is sometimes a very negative thing towards black kids. So I thought to myself, as a black kid watching this movie, this is probably a good, positive message that is being shown to black kids. Because of all the negativity that they constantly get, probably on the daily, this is a nice release. And what I mean by that is that they have a general outlet that is showcasing black people, those who, you know, look like them and share their same skin color, their hair, their mannerisms. And I'm seeing Black Panther as a good outlet for young black people. Now, I might be talking out of my ass here because I don't have that experience as a young black person, especially down in the States. But what I interpret is that a lot of negativity comes out of black communities that is being bombarded onto young black kids, black boys and black girls. And they get bombarded with this stuff on the daily, and it's probably very wearing on them. There's probably a lot of pressure on their shoulders as well, in order to kind of fight against the stereotypes and the tropes of what black people be. I was watching that movie, and this is why I really enjoy that movie. I enjoyed the movie because it looked good. It was a nice blend between the advancement of technology with traditional African culture. I thought that was really good. Even my boyfriend was saying that too, that it was a good movie overall in regards to Marvel. There was about roughly 3 or 4 moments of semi-political BS that I kind of rolled my eyes at, but it was so subtle and small that it didn't deter away from enjoying this movie. Because obviously black people are feeling, you know, frustration when it comes to certain white people in social media, their representation, for instance. And I get that. I get that you're frustrated. However, placing all blame onto every single white person around you in today's society, like, that's not a good outlet for you to release that frustration. Like, I've never owned slaves. I don't condone slavery. And as far as I can tell, my ancestors have never owned slaves. And fortunately for me, I was born in a country that actually helped escaped slaves from the States by going into the Underground Railroad. Canada gets to learn a little bit of historical value in regards to the freeing of slaves back down in the States. A lot of Canadians, a lot of white Canadians helped free, or at least, you know, get escaped slaves away from the States and to prosper up here in Canada. Now, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of Canada's history in regards to freeing the slaves down in the States. So when I get people who are Black Lives Matter activists like shitting on me because of the color of my skin, I'm really not going to listen to you, because I know for a fact that I did not contribute to any of your frustrations or to your suffering, okay? And there's no amount of white guilt that you can place on my shoulders to make me feel bad about that. So with watching that movie, I really, really liked the feel of it. It was a good movie because it stuck with the plot and it stuck with the superhero aspect. And it generally has some really good messages to teach young people. Placing myself into the shoes of a young black person while watching this film, I can get why this film seems so important to black people. I can get the importance of it because it's a positive representation of black people. It's interesting because my boyfriend actually brought this up, and it looked like that, yes, there's been black representation, but it's one of the first times that black people have been depicted as the main hero. And I said, well, what about the movie Blade? Blade was a vampire black guy who kicked ass. He was a good rounded character with good plot and good storyline. But that's when he said that Blade, the movie Blade, the actor Wesley Snipes played more the anti-hero and not the hero. So he's in the same realm as the character known as Deadpool. Deadpool's not really a hero because he's a mercenary, and people love him for the fact that he's an anti-hero. He's neither good nor really bad. You know, he's somewhere in between. So the character Blade in the movie Blade, acted by Wesley Snipes, is not a hero, but a anti-hero. So in regards to the movie Black Panther, T'Challa, the Black Panther, is actually a superhero. He's a good guy. He's a good guy who has morals, who cares about his people. He cares about the ones he loves, and he can kick ass while he does it. I mean, that's pretty good. That is good representation for a lot of black people to get exposed to. So my overall review of the movie itself was that it was good. It wasn't great because I preferred other movies in the Marvel world that I like, but as representation for black community, I think it's a really good film for that purpose. I just don't like how social media and SJWs and all those, the leftist type people are like treating this as if it's a monolith of black representation when we have evidence of black representation all throughout the decades. Like, I mean, we even have black leaders, so like Obama. When it comes to this necessity to showcase that the Black Panther is all this important movie, I say no, it's not. It's a typical Marvel movie that's finally showcasing a black superhero and putting him in the spotlight. So that's it that I have for this video, guys. Again, apologies for the wait. Let me know what you guys think. How many of you have actually seen the Black Panther? What do you guys think of it? Did you guys like T'Challa? Did you like the graphics? Did you like the concept of Wakanda? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll hopefully have another video on another topic here pretty soon. All right, guys. Remember to always take care of one another, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Don't freeze.
I never freeze.